Hello friends, it's the Grub back here once again, and as you can see we are back with the Kerbal space program, and we are starting a new series. Uh, if you may have been keeping up with the previous Kerbal episodes, we managed to get satellites orbiting the moon and started mapping it out with the ISA and the Kethane. But over the Christmas holiday there was a update that went out and Steam automatically updated my Kerbal. I didn't notice it until I started playing it again and noticed that all my mods had no longer been compatible and pretty much everything was lost. That having been done, I kind of got a little upset and just kind of stepped away from it for a little bit to catch my breath and breathe a bit. And I still played it with, sandpaper or sandbox mode for a little bit, but now I'm back. Now that I found some other mods, and I have a goal for this series. The goal is, by the end of this series, we shall put a Kerbal on Eeloo. Now, I have gotten a couple of mods down off on here that will make that a little more difficult than it may sound. First, I have Deadly Reentry on. I have Life Support. And those are really the ones that make it most difficult. I have some other mods, as you can also see here in the corner. The planet itself, I have the cloud mod on there, and a texture pack mod to make the cloudy and dark side show lights. As you can kind of just see right there, just above Jebediah's head there. I'm going to assume that's Jebediah, because Jebediah is almost always in the middle when it's a three-man group. He is the star of the program. But with the life support, what it also do is it's got permadeath on there, so they won't come back. So let's go ahead and we'll start ourselves a game here. And this will be called the Bgrubz Space Program. Since we have a flag for it, we'll use that flag. And we'll start. And the other mod I have on here is Interstellar. And this is part of the TAC life support that will keep it from respawning. Let's see. Yes, I want to have it enabled. Consumption rates are all good. I'm not going to change anything here. So that's all good there. As you can see here, I also have the alarm clock as part of it. Now, one of the updates since the previous game is that they've added this science archive as part of the 0.23 update, which will log all the science that has been done in our technology tree. Now, part of my goal for the trip is I'm only going to advance tier by tier. So, for example, we got tier 0 here. This will be tier 1. And I have to research all of a specific tier before I can continue on to the next tier. And that is what we're going to do now. It's not going to be all trying to get there because I also have... Let me bring up here. There we go. I also have... what's it called? It's on the tip of my tongue. It's the one that requires you to have line of sight and communications with the planet to do any kind of unmanned missions and that. Because before I send anybody to any bodies other than the moon, I'm going to do unmanned missions to them. So I'm going to have to put up a series of satellites to do that, but before we do that, we need to have the stuff to do satellites with, which we don't have yet. So our first goal, though, is to get into an orbit. And so that is what we shall do. That's what these videos here will be about. And these are our life support aids. The command capsule comes with a standard of 1 day's worth of life support, food, water, oxygen, and 20 minutes of electricity. Electricity is really the biggest ball buster right now because I don't have any way to really store up a lot of electricity, and I don't have a way to generate it as of yet. Oh yes, I also have Kerbal Flight Engineer, of course. It's my favorite. I like it. And I have RealChute as well. So that's on there. Like I said, I'll try and point out the ones I have as I see them and notice them. So these are part of the Interstellar. Not 100% sure exactly what these do are for as of this moment. I want to say these are maybe for like fuel or science experiments or something or other. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and pop one of these on here. With Deadly Reentry, we have heat shields. Even though technically the command pod comes with a heat shield, this does act like a separator, so I will use that to make a separatable rocket that I can try and maybe get up a little further. There we go, and we're going to call this the Artrid Mark 1. And I decided for my naming convention I'm going to use characters I play in MMOs. Artrid is been one of my main MMO characters. He has been a priest in World of Warcraft for the longest time. He was a warrior in Guild Wars. Both versions of Guild Wars, 1 and 2. And currently is a Jedi Knight in Star Wars The Old Republic. And during Galaxies, he was if I'm not mistaken, it's been so long since I have played it, I believe I had Artrid as a mechanic starship builder back in the Jump to Lightspeed days. So, there we go, the Artrid Mark 1. Let us see what we get here. Now, another thing I'm going to do is, for the most part, is I'm not going to use time warp. Now, I will speed up and cut the video for y'all so y'all don't have to sit here for the longest time, but I'm not going to use time warp. I'm going to try and fill whatever time I have in between. For example, if I'm trying to make it to the moon and it's going to be 12 hours till I do that, I may come back and launch a little something to try some science, or maybe try and get a satellite up to start the network. But I'm going to try and not use time warp as much as possible from my side. So here we go. Also, you'll notice I have this TAC fuel rebalancer. It allows me to balance out thin fuel and everything, and liquids and anything in there. But let's go ahead and start power to boosters, and let's launch this thing. And I apparently have a screw up here somewhere. I'm not 100% sure what I did, but let's take a look at it, and let's revert the flight back to launch, see what happened here. I don't think I paid any attention to my setup. Yeah, I didn't pay no attention to this. That was the problem. Okay. Didn't pay any attention to my staging while I was yapping. Let's see. Okay, so we got... Well, we don't have enough delta V to break atmosphere yet, but we should have enough to get us somewhere, get us some information, and we might be able to get a EVA report. In fact, let's get us an EVA report right here. I'm bored with that. And then let's try launch 2, and let's go. Okay, and again, why is my engine not going off? These are liquid fuel tanks, yes. This is a liquid fuel engine, yes. Just gonna go ahead and activate the engine and be done with it. Okay, let's try this again. Keep. EVA. Keep. Board. And launch. So I don't know what was going on, why that wasn't activating when I staged it. But that's okay. We're getting up there now. I don't really need an alarm clock at this moment. Let's move these over here. And we're going up. Doesn't look like we're going to break atmosphere. So we'll go ahead and do that. Just detach, let it go. And of course we have vertical velocity right now, so our chute, which is already armed and ready to go off, isn't going to pop chute until we get negative velocity. Right now we have positive vertical velocity. But we're going to make it up to 25. Made it into the, I guess that's middle atmosphere. I don't remember my atmospheric layers. But, oh well. I can turn off that. Don't need that no more, or that, since we are heading for the surface, so we have an impact in about a minute. Like I said, I'm not going to do any time warps. For me, I'm sitting through all of this. I will, however, fast forward this or cut this until I've landed. Don't really have much else to say other than, like I said, the goal for this entire series is to make it to Eeloo eventually. Whether we get there via warp drive or standard rocket maneuvers is to be seen. Depends on how science goes and what we do. But along the way, we will try and do what we can to make all kinds of science. I do want to try and build a nice, large space station. Something I've never done before. I've never actually rendezvoused in space before, so that should be fun for everybody. So yeah. And as I come back, we can see the chutes have recently opened, and what I like about the real chutes is that they open gradually, so you don't get that sudden pop of heavy G-forces, which I believe with TAC life support can actually kill your Kerbal, so there's something to be said about that. But it opens gradually, so you get a nice gradual G-force pop. But it looks like we're going to land just outside the VAB. For a second there, I thought we were going to land on the VAB. While this is going on, something else I forgot to mention that I have installed, I have Ferram's Aerospace installed as well. That mainly is good for, or useful for the, what have yous, the airplanes and that, but it does affect the rockets. From what I understand, it actually makes getting out of Kerbal's atmosphere easier because it makes the atmosphere a little less soupy, or a little less thick, but it can play merry hell with your design if you ain't got just everything just right. Let's see, taking surface sample from the KSC. Now we'll plant a flag. I claim this land in the name of Kerbal. We already have it claimed. That's okay. I put a flag down. It's ours. There we go. First landing of the Archer missions. So we'll make it back to our pad here. Our command pod. It also says radiation. I don't know if maybe radiation takes into something, takes some effect of that later on or not. Not sure. Be interesting if it does. I don't know if there's like radiation scrubbers or what, but let's go ahead and claim this and see what kind of science we've received. I'm sure it's more than enough to get the next tier. Usually you can get the next tier just sitting on the pad. But we got 23 science. And that lets us also show off the handy dandy science archives. So we can still get a little bit more science from the recovery vessel and a little bit more from getting surface samples out of KSC. Now one thing I'm going to do is, the only time I'm going to get surface samples from Kerbal is if I land there after flight. I'm not going to purposely go to those locations, with the exception of probably the North and South Pole. I may try and make a shot for that at one point. Maybe while we're waiting for something to rendezvous with something else. But we got 23 science. This is only going to cost us 5, and it's going to give us decouplers, fuel tanks, our first piece of science material, the mystery goo container. And it leaves us with 18 science left, so we can pick up more stuff. Let's see, this is just more life support gear. Let's see, some stability wings, or winglets. Or get some more rocket boosters. Well, actually, it's all dependent upon this. That's 20. It'd be 18 science. I can use all up, and I can get that and radial decouplers. Or do this and get extra life support, which we really don't need right now. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's get some stability. Now, before I can move on to these tiers, of course, I do have to first research. Well, you know, technically, now I think about it, because this was here, this is technically the first part of the tier. These just points of the tiers, but oh well. We'll consider this all one tier. Screw it. So let's see what we can do to get the Artrid up higher. Okay, we don't really need that because this comes with its heat shield. I was just using that as a decoupler. Let's go ahead and let's just dump all that. Just every bit of it. Just get rid of it. We use that decoupler. And what I'll do is I won't show all the building at once. I'll show like the first initial stages of the building, and then when we start building further or something like that, or if we make any major changes. But I don't think you'll sit here and watch me build, or if I do, I'll do it fast forward building. Yeah, because I have nothing to really speak about. Okay, and I believe that is ready to go. Just want to verify my staging here. See, I want both of these firing off at the same time. I think that'll pop off, and that'll go, then that'll go. Let's see if that can make it. And this is the Mark II. We'll save it, and we'll launch it. Hopefully I won't have the issues I had previously. It's okay. And we are ready for launch. Let's go ahead and get this information here. We have a total of 4,740 delta V. Technically, we should be able to get into an orbit if everything goes right. So let's go. Looks like we may have a problem. Looks like SAS has managed to recover. See if we can't get ourselves something here. While I'm at it, let's get a crew report. Come on, bastard, pull up. And that would be the Ferrams that has been messing with me, trying to keep me from getting into space. So let's see if I can at least salvage something here. Well, we didn't manage to make it even suborbital. At least I don't believe that's suborbital. Orbital. We're still technically in atmosphere, and I thought I could get that, but I didn't think I was that far into the atmosphere. Let's see if I can recover this. Come on. Oh, can I? Ooh. Ooh, 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 close. I'm in spitting distance, come on. Just constantly bouncing around it. Come on. Biggest problem is it's also tumbling. Come on, it's the only way to get home. Oh! Salvaged! Salvaged! And we got the EVA report too. Oh man. Oh, that was scary for a second. That was scary for a second. Let's go ahead and pop that off. Let's go ahead and arm our chute, turn off the SAS, and let gravity do its thing as we go back in. And I will be back once we have landed and I go change my pants. Okay, I'm back with fresh pants. As we're coming down here, you know, one thing that I've just never grow tired of in this game is just the way it looks when you're coming back into the planet. And I've watched videos where guys have taken did shuttle-like launches and brought them down, and it's just it never gets old watching that kind of stuff in this game. I look forward to trying to make my own space plane at some point just to see myself do it. But like I said, this game is just wonderful. I do have a lot of fun playing it, even though there are times it gets aggravating. especially when you try to do some work and you're working up towards something and all the mods crash. But I fixed that this time. Steam won't be doing any auto updates on me. So yeah, we're still coming down. We got another 300 meters to go. There's our shadow. And we are landing out in the middle of the ocean. Literally, we are in the middle of the ocean, actually. Just about. Yeah. We are just right of the middle of the ocean. And since you couldn't actually see what I was doing, I was holding up my fingers up to the screen and doing a guesstimation. And here we are in the water. Let's see here. Oop, boink. Guess EVA report. And a surface sample of the water. Okay, well I guess I can't get in, so I'll have to recover Jeb here. And then I'll have to recover the vessel. And something I noticed is I have tried recovering it with the button down there, but for some reason it always leaves a copy of it in there. I actually have to go to the ship and recover it with the button there in order to get it off of my map screen. Because I don't want to have too much clutter. But here we go. We got ourselves 25 science out of all that. Yep, it wasn't even suborbital. It was still just a regular flight. Now let's go take a look at our archives. Let's see what else we can still get some science from. Well, if we fall in the water again, we can get another sample from there. And still, if we ever land back on KSC, we can get samples from there. But right now, that is the maximum amount of science we can get for what we've done. I am going to go ahead and get this so we can get some more rockets. So I'll get that next. Survivability. Let's go ahead and load up the Archer Mark II and see what we can do to fix this. We need to salvage. And actually, probably about now, I'm probably getting close to time or over that time. So instead, I will say, hope you've enjoyed watching. Please like, subscribe, comment if you have. See you next time. And in the meantime, I'll go ahead and do an edit of this, and I'll be back once that's done. Take it easy, and that'll be in the next episode. Bye-bye.